Welcome back. We are very close. I don't know if we'll get to it in this video, but we are very close to the next major topics, which is number one, preparing the road to meet the one, meaning the main focus of this series, because it's yet to be seen if she is the one, but we'll see. But also meeting number eight, who was not the one. But before we get to those, I wanted to cover some points. Now, if you've looked at the video series, all of them include this in the title, God Writes Love Stories. And yet I haven't really said anything about that, right? I don't think I've even mentioned the phrase before now. Some time ago, God impressed upon me, and I don't remember how, this idea of asking God to write my love story. And so I started praying about that. I think it was started around before meeting the seven. And I really started praying that prayer. God, please, you write my love story and use it for you, for something bigger than just me. That was one prayer. And then the other thing that was impressed upon me, it could have been sermons, I don't know. And it was, I want to see a big God, like a huge God, like something that you never typically see. So I started praying those two prayers before I met the 10. The 7. Then I went through the whole 7, and I think I forgot about those prayers until the 7 were over. And if you saw the last video, the year end of 2012 through 2013, where there were no significant involvements with women, I started praying those two prayers again. God, I want to see you be a huge God, like awesome, and do mighty things. And I want you to write my love story. Now, the problem is that to us, that prayer might sound like something wonderful to go through, but it's not. I think God has been writing my love story, and it's been a lot of pain, honestly. So then the question became, well, why am I going through so much pain? And I can answer that a lot better now. When God takes somebody who's a Christian and he's allowing them to do a lot of suffering, it always is for their own good and because he's preparing you, me, for something later. And I really could not know that. I could know it mentally, but I couldn't really believe it or feel it. It was just a bunch of words to me until I've gone through what I've gone through, and then life started making sense, the pain. But I had to go through a lot of, why am I going through so much pain? I went through years of not knowing why, and being told, well, just hang on, you'll see, and I got tired of that. Another question was, why dance with so many women? What was the purpose of that? Well, I learned how to focus on them. Remember, I was trying to help them be their best at the dance and have a good time and just look their best. And that idea of just focusing on them and forgetting myself was a lesson that carried over to when I needed it later. And then don't let their attitudes and insecurities get to me. The attitudes and insecurities came across in many different ways, but I learned to just let it not affect me. And then having to be patient. It's similar but different. Like maybe they're too busy trying to dance by themselves and I can't get them to follow me and things I want to do. Because if you know anything about dancing, leading and following, the man, the lead, creates, it's like a carnival ride, but he creates it in that moment with the song. And he's creating the ride as the ride is happening. And the woman's role is mainly to just relax and enjoy the ride. And it was interesting to me, funny, really, comic. It got to be comical. Like I said, I learned to be patient. There were women I would be dancing with, and they really weren't that great. And yet they would be so busy trying to do something they wanted to do, which was nothing. that they would miss what I wanted to do, which was going to be a lot more fun and a lot more interesting and entertaining and enjoyable than anything she was going to do. But we would miss we'd miss a chance here and there because she just wasn't paying attention. She wasn't following. So I had to learn how to be patient. I had to learn how to handle rejection. You go in a dance, you walk up to a girl, you ask her to dance, she says no, it's rejection. I learned to, over time, just, oh, no, okay, what about the girl next to you and the girl next to you? And eventually somebody would say yes. And so that was one lift. And I know now that God was preparing me in so many ways back then for what was to come later. And then the last thing I want to say is God was teaching me how to be a male friend. If you have been watching previous videos, you know that I got involved with Seven end of 2010, and then actually number Seven mid 2011, and was involved with her through the end of 2012. But relating to the point about God was teaching me how to be a male friend. Number 3, after the short phase of having romantic feelings and for each other, things like that, we got past that. We established our friendship as just friends, and she was actually friends with me through the time when I actually met and became friends with the girl that I have not introduced yet, quote, the one, who then I had a relationship with, and so on. So all the way through past 2015, through about the beginning of 2016. So that was quite a few years that I was a male friend to number 3. I think we are ready to try to tackle at least one of these. Prep to meet, quote, the one. If we recall, I was with no involvement of any kind, just dancing through the end of 2012 and going on through 2013, and I talked about a lot of stuff that happened that year. I had also, before that, in a prior video, talked about how God finally did start leading me to this notion that there would be a number 8. But right at that time, there's something else that happened. Number 3, my friend at this time now, having been friends for a while, I had actually taken her dancing as well, and she got a large singles church group to get together. There was a date somewhere, I think it was September, it was a Saturday, a large hall. And she said, Eli, I want you to teach a dance class as something fun to do for the singles group. And we're going to have, food and stuff like that. It's going to be fun. I was just in the dumps. I was doing really bad emotionally. The dancing just wasn't doing it for me anymore. After, 3,000 plus women, dancing nightly, weekends, that just didn't do it for me anymore. There were nights that I would miss and just go to my 24-hour coffee shop because I was tired of it, So I'm in the desert and I'm like dying again, and the usual breadcrumbs don't work. But I kind of felt like I was supposed to go, and I was praying about it. Now here's the thing, and keep this in mind: God hardly ever works the way you think He's going to work. Okay? Just when you think you've got God figured out, you don't. So it was a Saturday. I pull up to the parking lot. I'm actually crying. That's how bad off I am emotionally. I'm crying in my vehicle before the time to walk in and start giving a class to this group of people I don't know. And I pray, I said, God, please, can something happen tonight that will at least tell me that I was supposed to be here and there was a purpose to it. Because if I have to be miserable, can there at least be a purpose to being miserable? To why I'm here. Let not tonight end and have it be pointless. All right. So I felt good enough after that prayer to just walk in and do my thing. Turns out that there's this really cute Colombian girl, and she actually reminded me of number 7. They looked a lot alike. And I picked her out right away, and she liked the idea of being my assistant. So normally in a class, you're supposed to rotate partners. But as I taught the class, I'm the teacher, I make the rules as I go. I kept her as my dance partner. And she was very happy to do that and look good. And we had a good time flirting and dancing, and I was teaching and all that. And after class was over, we just started playing music, and her and I mostly were the ones that danced, but nobody else danced because they didn't know how. And I was already thinking, oh man, God has definitely done this. But I was focusing on the wrong thing, that it had to do with this girl. And I even got her number. She gave me her number, and I thought, okay, maybe she's number. I don't know if I knew there was number 8 conclusively, or I'm not really sure where I was with that idea. But all I know is I thought this girl had to do with the night being meaningful and something's going to happen. Because remember, even though God has a plan with me and God is writing my love story and I'm trying to be obedient, I'm also trying to find somebody. I want to meet somebody. I want to fall in love with somebody. I want to marry somebody. And I get short-sighted and I want to solve things my way. And so to me, hey, this girl must be it. Well, right at the end of the night, this other girl, I briefly mentioned her, she comes up to me and she says, listen, I have a friend who has a dance studio, and I think that you really should teach a regular class. Not like you're doing here for fun. Like, be serious about it. Start a dance class at a dance hall, at a dance studio. It's free. I'll talk to my friend. I've got people who are interested. I've got everything. All you need to do is say yes, that you're going to be the teacher, and I will do everything else. And somehow, and then like the next day when I tried to call or text the girl of the night of the dance and all that, it went south, and I realized that I had been wrong and that the real meaning of the night was this thing that happened at the end. The girl who has the friend with the dance studio and all that. And I say I briefly had mentioned her because she's the girl that had parents that were 30 years apart. And I keep harping on that so you'll remember. Her dad was 30 years older than her mom. So that encounter where that girl happened to be at that event, and I happened to be at that event, and she happened to ask me if I wanted to teach a class on a regular basis, turned out to be step number 1 in the process of the preparation to meet the one. We're going to end this video right here. And in the next one, we're going to side by side, I think, is what it's going to be like. Take up that other topic of meeting number 8, while at the same time the preparations for meeting the one move along.